Watch for the merge here. Who's going to come out in front? Oh, contact, massive shot! I think that's Christopherson into Sainz. RXR is still running. Arlen Kotlinski up the inside, through the water splash and into the lead. Rosberg X Racing take victory here in Sardinia. Double win here for RXR. Ekstrom all the way around the outside to take the lead. Oh, Christopherson stopped, surely. That's their winning streak over here. Acciona Sainz, Sands takes the win. They've broken RXR's dominance in Sardinia. Can they do it again and take a huge leap towards the championship title? Hello and welcome to Extreme E, where we are in Sardinia for the Island X Prix, round 7 and 8 of the 2023 season. My name is Andrew Coley. Joining me this weekend is Jess Rogers.
Thank you, Andrew. Extreme E is racing for the planet. Each of the championship events is designed to not only have the very best off-road action in motorsport, but is also racing with a purpose, highlighting the big environmental issues we all face and celebrating the people finding solutions.
Gender equality is ingrained in Extreme E's DNA. Piloting these machines are driver pairings completely unique in motorsport, a 50-50 gender split. It's not just on track but off track too, where equality is a key focus. This weekend we will be celebrating those at the forefront of change, representing the future of sport.
It's a big weekend for the championship too. The Island X Prix always delivers massive drama, and this time championship aspirations are at stake. Get it right and you are in contention come Chile. But this course can bite back. Every corner will count and dreams will crumble in the Sardinian heat.
We started this season, of course, in Saudi Arabia. Double headers every weekend of the year. Hydrogen and biodiversity was the theme. The winners were Veloce and Acciona Sainz, so it was a good start to the season for the Sainz team. And as you'll see, they've had a continuing good run here in Sardinia.
Absolutely, and we then went to Scotland for the second location of the year, and the winners there were X44 Vida Carbon Racing and Veloce Racing of the second race.
So first visit to Sardinia was all Rosberg X Racing RXR. They crossed the line here 5 times in a row in the lead. Once they were disqualified for contact with Acciona Sainz, that was last year. And of course, the Acciona Sainz have finally ended that win streak yesterday. At round 7, it was them who took the win in Sardinia, and we've got round 8 for you today. Can they do the double and really put one hand on that trophy?
And the last one of the season, we will be heading to Chile in South America again, in the region of Antofagasta on the 2nd and 3rd of December. That is where the championship will be decided, and it's still all to play for.
Day 2 in Sardinia, Island X Prix, round 8 of 2023. Now, yesterday was very dramatic indeed. We'll bring you some action from it in just a few moments. Oh, there's some relaxing music. There was nothing relaxing yesterday about the grand final. It was absolutely wild.
It really was. Carnage was the word that springs to mind. It was wild. It had it all. It was really exciting. But Acciona Sainz, I mean, woo. Wow. Yeah,
brilliant day for them yesterday. They were the top qualifiers. They didn't manage to take the 2 extra points for the Continental Traction Challenge. That went to Andretti Altaquile. But if you've missed any of the racing yesterday or right back to Saudi Arabia, we can bring you up to speed. So have a look at this and you'll be ready for round 8.
Season 3 of Extreme E began on the picturesque shores of the Red Sea in Neom, Saudi Arabia.
Hammer down now, release the handbrake. Oh, it's in the water! Oh my God!
Everything okay?
Yes, it does.
No, not again! A 3rd roll for Andretti!
After a brutal 2 days of racing, wins for Veloce and Acciona Sainz left them level at the top of the championship.
Vámosla ya, que hemos ganado la carrera!
The scarred landscape of a former coal mine put the teams to the test when Scotland played host to the chaotic Hydro X Prix.
Contact and a roll! Absolutely huge crash! Timmy Hansen going to pass McConnell, pushes him out wide, and RXR off the side of the road! Johan Christopherson!
After a tough battle in the final, X44 Vida Carbon Racing stayed out of trouble to claim the win in round 3. Round 4 brought some of the worst weather conditions in the championship's history.
Oh no! Look at Christopherson, full opposite lock.
However, Veloce maintained their composure to take their second win of the season and reclaim the championship lead.
Top step of the podium for Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor.
Round 5 saw a return to stunning Sardinia for the Island X-Prix, and the grand final saw one of the most remarkable comeback drives in Extreme E history.
Christopherson into the side of the App Cupra. The RXR is going fully off-road, straight through the bushes on the outside of the track. Puncture for App Cupra. The rear left tyre is off the rim for Sebastian Loeb. Christopherson, looking after that off-track excursion, has come in P3.
That was a race. Yes.
Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski slides. Oh, money! They've gone from potentially taking the win to lying on their side in the dirt. This is wild.
Keep close, Michaela. Car 99 might have a penalty. Keep going.
Arlen Kotlinski and Johan Christopherson with an incredible drive. A disaster at the start, and they come back to take the win in round 5.
In round 6, RXR was slow off the line again in the final.
Christopherson drops out, and this time it's Timmy Hansen who goes off-roading, and Christopherson comes from the back of the pack to the lead. How has he done that?
But passed for the lead in the opening moments this time to underline their dominance in Sardinia. And leaving them breathing down Acciona Sainz's neck at the top of the championship. Back in Sardinia for round 7, and it did not disappoint. There was carnage throughout the day.
Molinaro gets launched!
But the grand final was all Acciona Sainz right from turn 1.
Ekstrom all the way round the outside to take the lead.
To the checkered flag.
Acciona Sainz takes the win here.
Behind them, countless problems for the chasing pack further strengthened their championship lead going into round 8.
Yeah, believers, 30 seconds wasn't long enough to tell the story of what happened in the final yesterday. You really need to go back and take a look at it. It was amazing stuff. But brilliant performance from Acciona Sainz. They now have an 18-point lead over Rosberg X Racing, who, despite their issues yesterday, remain P2, 8 points further back to Veloce Racing. I think it's the title fight is between those three, and certainly Acciona Sainz very much the favourites. But with what happened yesterday and how things go in Extreme E, anything can happen. McLaren won't be taking part today. They'll be using the spare car for a big crash for Emma Gilmore in free practice, and unfortunately, when Molinaro rolled the spare, game over. Laura Winter is down in the paddock for us all weekend.
Our championship leaders, Acciona Sainz, extended their lead with a near-perfect day yesterday. Laia Sanz joins me after that brilliant win yesterday afternoon. How are you feeling this morning, having had a night to celebrate and reflect and get ready for today?
Yeah, we enjoyed it a lot yesterday. It was almost a perfect day, as you said. We just didn't win the super sector, the Continental Challenge, but we were happy because everything goes very well. We extend a little bit the lead, but not a lot of time to party. I mean, to celebrate, because now is a new race. We need to be focused. We know that the fight will be super tight until the very last moment, so we need to go for each point we can, and it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. A new day here. Now, we can see the team behind working so hard. We want to know a bit about the championship leading team. We want to know who these guys are and how hard they work. I'm going to hand you the microphone, Laia. Here we go.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, as you can imagine, this is a teamwork, and they are super nice also, because we are together since the first year, so we know each other very well, and we are like a family now. Here we have the guys finishing the details on the car, because yesterday it was quite a lot of action, so the car suffered a bit. And then, as you can see here, we have all the computers. We analyze all the, the times, and we try to see data and how to improve. Here we have the press guy, that it's also important, and also the boss, Carlos, and the engineers, Matthias, and then also some guys there that work on the fixing every part that we broke during the weekend. So yeah, this is a really important part. It's not only the drivers, of course.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see just how many people are actually in one team making it all happen. Laia, thank you very much indeed for that little tour. There's still so much work ongoing ahead of course, racing here. Thank you very much to you. Of course, one of the founding principles here of Extreme E is gender equality, and we see brilliant drivers like Laia Sanz out there tearing it up. It's been a spotlight shone on it for this weekend and indeed for the 3 years of this championship.
I grew up in this sport since I was 8. I think I've raced against one female in my racing career in 26 years, and so that needs to change. You know, young girls need to see that they can race also too.
Extreme E has done much more for females, I think, than they realised that it would when they started the championship.
Motorsport is always a difficult sport to get into, a difficult sport to reach any high level, because the investment level, the resources that you need is so high for any driver, male or female. What Extreme E has done is made sure that some of that seat time and development will go to female talent and female drivers, which is so important because you need that opportunity to learn and to develop.
There were a lot of things that were appealing to us about Extreme E. First and foremost, is a competition that required both male and females playing on an equal playing field. So to have our first female racing driver from McLaren Racing in Emma Gilmore is awesome.
We came up with the concept which was like mixed doubles, where every team has one car, but one lap has to be done by a male and one lap has to be done by a female. And it's really transformed the sport.
I love the way the messages are going out from Extreme E. Having a woman driver with a man driver in the same car in the same race is something unique. It's never been done before.
To share the car with a girl was something new for me, and I think it's a nice experience to work together.
Having that male teammate, being able to learn from them. We all saw the progression of all the women drivers throughout the year, so it's great to see.
Extreme E has done so much for equality in motorsports. Just thinking back, for example, to Sardinia, it was our driver Michaela who was the star of the weekend, because in race 1 we were only running 3rd last lap, and she did an amazing overtake to get Katie Munnings for 2nd and then won the race. That's so cool. This motorsports is a platform where the women can really be the superstars just as much as the men.
Motorsport has gone really far. It has made big steps, especially and because of what Extreme E has done. But there is still a long way to go for us to be across the whole motorsport world to reach true equality within sport.
If another female does well on track, I'm proud of that as well, because Extreme E is really challenging. So to see those performances come through from females is amazing.
To have someone like Kevin Hansen as my teammate, and not in a sense of traditional teams where your teammates, you also want to beat your teammate. You know, we have to work together, and if we can get the best out of both, it's better for the whole. You know, I have this amazing mentor next to me in the same car, data to compare with, and that's sort of from a learning perspective, you can just learn so much faster, and that's what we're seeing when it comes to, you know, out on the track.
There's so much media and hype around women in motorsport, but actually it's always been about how far can we go. I think it's a very exciting time for motorsport, and I think the more potential that we can get for opportunities for females, the more it will grow.
So this was what's happened this weekend. That is an absolutely huge accident for Emma Gilmore. That was the first of the crashes for McLaren. Emma was walking and talking after the crash, but she was airlifted to hospital for checks, and they found she'd got a fractured rib. So that's why McLaren then nominated Tamara Molinaro, the championship driver, female championship driver, to jump in the car. We'll have Patrick O'Donovan, the male championship driver, with us on commentary for Q1. This, unfortunately, was the second crash from McLaren, so that is Molinaro getting launched. Yeah, you head off the side of what we would call the groomed track, of the piste, if you like, and watch it go off, and it digs in, and she just gets launched. Now, unfortunately, that is why McLaren are not in today, so that they'd already used the spare car, and then now the spare car is looking very used.
Yeah, absolutely, and tomorrow we like to say that she is doing okay, and our thoughts are with the McLaren drivers. And
that's Timmy Hansen yesterday contacting the first corner, and that actually ripped the rear left corner off the Andretti Autokeelit machine. They had just another tricky day. It's not been, they're fast everywhere.
They did end up coming out on top in the redemption race there. Yes. And they got, look at that smile from Katie Munnings.
Exactly.
They got, very important, 2 points from the Continental Traction Challenge, so through that. So it was a bit of redemption for them, wasn't it?
It certainly was. This was Matthias Ekstrom climbing all over the back of Timo Scheider. Just a mistake from Ekstrom. That was judged by well, not even a mistake. Scheider checked up a little bit earlier than Ekstrom thought. Ekstrom was looking up the inside, and you end up with a bit of contact. That's the way it goes. The stewards looked at it and deemed it a racing incident, which is cool, because we don't want them banning everything. This is Clara Anderson desperately trying to get the App Cooper around to the finish with broken rear left suspension. Look at the screen on Molly Taylor in the Veloce. The Veloce is the one where you can't see any livery. Then this was the App Cooper hitting Leah Block, which broke the steering on Leah Block's car, because of course say Clara's just desperately trying to hold on to it, and here that's a proper bit of off-roading.
This was absolutely
like,
wild yesterday.
Follow the compass and just see whether or not, I mean, it's just incredible. Disappointment for Leah. She's going so well, she's so fast in this series and in other series that she's competing in, and it will come. But it's frustrating. It was her first grand final, and they wanted a good result.
And then the other thing, this was in the this was all in the grand final. This is all going on. It was like it wasn't
spread out through. Most of this was
one race.
One race, yeah. So that was Kristoffersen with broken steering. They managed to drag the car around, I think, for P4, didn't they? In the end, Acciona Sainz, though,
so
fantastic
clean
performance. Yeah, clean out front. They won both their qualifying races. At one point, they held the Continental Traction Challenge. They didn't get that until the end of the race, the end of the day. That was, I said, it was stolen, but they got the victory, and they've now got an 18-point lead where it was 4. So great day for them. Can they have another one today? Let's take a look at the track then here in Sardinia. If you weren't watching yesterday, it is a different layout than we used last time we were here.
Yeah, absolutely, because we are back in Sardinia for these rounds 7 and 8. Round 8 today, but the track's pretty good. It's a bit of a different start. It's wider, and then also we've got 2 big water splashes, which are actually called Acqua Grande, which is Andrew's favourite.
Yes, water splash. but it is Acqua Grande. It is grande. It's wide. It's deep.
They're big.
Yeah, it is. And yesterday it caused plenty of problems. Most of the problems were not cars going through it. It was the mud after it on the screen, and then wipers. We had several issues for people. They've actually got a double-sized water bottle in the cars now, so they can use the wipers more. We even saw the wipers come off. I think the Veloce machine, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. The wiper came off Molly Taylor's car. So yeah, they're tricky. They're an added challenge to it. Of course, a Continental Traction Challenge as well.
And the start has been pretty wild so far, we've seen, and there's an extra little jump in there compared to previous courses here in Sardinia.
Yeah, there's a jump off the start as well, where we saw the roll for Tamara Molinaro yesterday, a little bit of contact, so plenty of action out there. It is super fast down towards turn 1.
Now, if you're new to Extreme, what's it all about? Well, have a look at this and see.
Extreme is a fully electric off-road racing championship consisting of 10 world-class teams made up of 1 male and 1 female driver. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an Innova hyperdrive boost in every session, and there are bonus points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course. First up, it's qualifying, where everybody races twice in a bid to finish as high as possible in the qualifying standings. Then it's time to earn some championship points. From qualifying, the bottom 5 teams go into the redemption race, while the top 5 proceed to the grand final and compete to win the Prix and lift the trophy. It's a season-long battle, 10 rounds, 1 champion.
Everyone getting ready for day 2 here in Sardinia, and it's hot. The sun might not be beaming down, but my goodness, were they sweating yesterday? It is just over 30 degrees.
Yeah, it is indeed. Not quite as hot as it was in July, but hot enough when you're basically wearing the equivalent. I always say to people about race suits, it's like wearing ski thermals underneath, and then a race suit on top is not quite ski wear, but it's hot. Yeah, it's not ideal when you're sitting in these cars, which, yeah, the electric motors generate heat as well. Yeah, a lot.
And earlier this year, X44 Vida Carbon Racing's Cristina Gutierrez paid a special visit to a local children's hospital in Spain to set them the task to design her new racing helmet. And now it's ready.
The idea started because each year I make a new helmet, new design. My brother works in the hospital. I spoke with him about the idea to involve the kids in my design. The thing that I want to make in the beginning, it was a design like fighting for the climate change, showing the problems in the countries. I also said, please put a word or a phrase who represent for you your draw, no? The first idea was to put only one draw, but when we saw the draws, it was impossible to select one. In total, it's 25 draws. This is only the beginning, and it's not only my helmet. For sure, I want to involve the families, the kids. I know the story of many of them, and they are very hard, so imagine how can I feel when I put my helmet on. For sure, I want to drive with all of them in my head, and all the energy that they had makes me more strong to try to win everything. Así que nada, te mando un saludo, Fernando. Chao, chao, chao.
Christina, we've just seen you on a Zoom call there to the hospital. Just explain what's been going on and this helmet, which is an incredibly special edition for this race here in Sardinia.
Yeah, each year I want to make a new design of the helmet. This time my brother works in the hospital, and we have a good idea. We want to involve all the kids in the hospital to make draws of the environment or different things, and they put also different words. And it was very special because some of them have very strong stories. Some of them, they are not with us now, and all the families are very involved in this, and I'm like all the time with my head like I am very excited with the design, with the helmet, everything. And the support was incredible also from all the drivers when they saw the helmet. Makes very smile, and I am competing with a very special helmet, and for me this is a win, and I think all the kids are very happy for going around the world.
You can really tell how much this means to you. You really feel it, don't you?
Yeah, I feel very excited. I feel very emotional because I know most of the histories of these kids, and they are very passionate about spend time drawing these draws. They had an incredible emotion drawing this, and it makes me feel much more like responsibility to show this helmet and to compete with this helmet and with this emotion, because for me this is a win.
I love that, and I love that you've included so many of them as well. Thanks so much, Christina, for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much.
So cool, isn't it? Really cool. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And her brother works there, and it clearly means so much to her, and might just give her that little extra oomph when she is in the car racing. Love that story.
Yeah, I used to think that having female drivers in this series is great for inspiring kids from the point of view that you know a lot of young girls won't have seen a female racing driver, so suddenly it's, oh wow, cool, a female racing driver, and I've done the design of the helmet. Just good things, nice things.
Yeah, Extreme is doing a lot of good things. I love that from Christina Gutierrez.
We're going to do some more good things now, because we're about to get Sendy down towards turn 1. So yeah, here we go. Round 8, let's get it underway.
A new day dawns here in Sardinia, and it's round 8 of the Island X Prix. Andreas Baccarat of JBXC and Leah Block of Carl Cox Motorsport standing alongside me nice and early this morning. Andreas, welcome. I know a difficult day for you yesterday with that broken drive shaft when you were in such a good position in the race. How are you feeling now, having had a night to reflect?
Well, I think, you know, Extreme is difficult. It's a difficult championship. It's a hard thing, you know. It's you need to get everything dialed in correctly. It's easy to, you know, there's ruts out here. It's tough, it's rough, jumps, great drivers on the track at all times. And you need a bit of luck on your side, and I think today, I felt this morning, we're going to have some luck today.
Oh, I love that fighting talk. And Leah, I know for you as well, you were running in such a strong position in that final. Just talk us through what happened from your perspective.
Yeah, running second, had a pretty good gap from Veloce, or who was behind?
Apt Cooper, maybe. We're not sure. It went to a bit of chaos.
Yeah, I made a mistake, and as I was trying to get back on pace, I got hit once, put in the bushes, and then Veloce passed me, and then I passed Veloce, and apparently she couldn't see, and took out my steering, so unfortunately that was the end to that, but we had a great day yesterday, and I'm excited for today.
You had a brilliant day yesterday, and that bodes well for today. But JBXE coming with the fighting talk. What have you learned from yesterday, Andreas, that you can take into today?
Nothing.
I guess anything can happen right out there.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, we put racing out here in Sardinia in the middle of nowhere. There is a lot of sand. We watered the track to keep the fog, not the fog,
dust.
but the dust down. And it's hard. It's hard to predict what's going to happen in every heat and session. And you kind of just have to take the start and get out there and drive with your eyes and nose and butt feeling and take it from there. I don't have any better advices to anyone. It's just very hard and tough, and starts is key. We're starting on the outside, which is not ideal for Q1, but you know what? Stuff happens into turn 1, turn 2, and when stuff happens, we're there.
Oh, I love it. When stuff happens, you'll be there. I'd imagine you'll both be there as well. We're looking forward to this. Here we go then. Our first race of qualifying is coming up very, very soon. Here it is, Q1, Heat 1.
There they are on the line, good to go. In the background is the Santa Elena, the fantastic ship which delivers these cars around the world to these brilliant locations. Sardinia, round 8, about to get underway. Laura said Q1, race 1 coming up. 5 cars in this. If you were with us a few minutes ago, you'll know there'll only be 4 cars in the next one, I'm afraid, because McLaren can't take part today after 2 big rolls. There are no cars left. Now, they weren't the only people who had a bunch of drama. There were drama for nearly everybody, and particularly for Clara Anderson, who we're going to go and have a catch-up with in the Vodafone Command Centre. Clara, you had to wrestle that bad boy home yesterday, didn't you? There were bits hanging off. How was that from the driver's seat?
Oh, wow. Just coming out from the switch, I was P4, and I knew I just had to push. Did the overtake, and then the whole left rear broke down, and I was crawling like the crab to the finish line. But P2, I'll take it any day of the week, and now the car is fixed again. Yeah, fantastic. You're looking forward to today. Any information for us on track conditions and things? I know you guys go and have a little sneaky look at it at the start of the day. Yeah, we're super excited. Brand new race day. We will push and do whatever we can to have a good result once again. The track, I think, is a little bit wet in some places, but I hope it's a little bit less slippery than yesterday, but let's see. All right, wishing you the best. Thanks, Clara. Have a good one. Thank you. All smiles from Clara Anderson, looking like she's in a nightclub there this morning. It's not, I can assure you, it's not a late one. It's an early one. They're in the command centre.
She's absolutely brilliant, Clara Anderson. She's been teaming up with Seb Loeb, who we just saw chilling there.
Yeah, getting himself ready to go. All the drivers on the line in the command centre. We're ready.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Island X Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 1, is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
So tactically, the teams have all chosen to start with their male driver, except for JBXE, who put Hedda Hozos in. So she'll be in first, and then Andreas Backer will take over for the second half. Again, if you knew, basically they choose which driver takes the start, and then that rotates through the day. So really, by choosing who goes in Q1, you're choosing who's going to start the final or the redemption race. Usually there, you would choose your most... your driver with the most experience of starts. So we've got lots of drivers like Laia Sands, for instance, brilliant driver, but most of her racing in the past has been solo, whereas Matthias Ekström has always raced in packs.
And we're talking about mass starts like this, and this is our driver lineup. On the right-hand side is JBXE with Hedda Hozos. In lane 2, it's Seb Loeb for Abt Cupra. In the middle, Timo Scheider for Carl Cox Motorsport. Then it's Veloce, Kevin Hansen, and on the edge, it's Fraser McConnell for X44.
There is Sebastian Loeb and Kevin. Look, Kevin, gritted teeth, no blinking. Fraser McConnell, you do not look away at that moment. Everybody gets a good start. Everybody in Noah Hyperdrive immediately an extra 100 kilowatts of power on the run to the first corner. Hedda Hozos off the back of the package. She checks up now and moves to the inside line. She might get some moves done, and that's exactly what she does. McConnell sideways in the X44, up on 2 wheels. Sebastian Loeb around the outside of the bush. We saw Ekstrom have to take that line yesterday. Goodness me, but it is Timo Scheider who leads for Carl Cox Motorsport. In behind him, Fraser McConnell. He gets contact side by side against Sebastian Loeb, looked up the inside line. Kevin Hansen into P4. Back to the back is Hedda Hozos, but everybody through that tricky first corner. And now we get to go racing for 4 laps.
I literally hold my breath through that first section. I mean, you don't. You're talking million miles an hour because there's so much noise going on.
There is a lot going on. I thought Hozos, she lost out at the start, but I thought she might then move across and gain. Everybody did run a little bit deep on the exit turn 1, but not deep enough. And Sebastian Loeb up the inside. Nice pass on Fraser McConnell. McConnell gets dumped back in position. And now you see the mud over the screens. Watch for visibility here. And again, McConnell's now getting attacked from behind. So Kevin Hansen looking to try and come past Kevin up the inside of Fraser McConnell. So Fraz is having a rough lap here. He gets pushed wide up over the bank on the outside line. The rear end of the X44 car, the clamshell is just completely flapping off it through the second water splash. Fraz is going to have to get his head down now, see if he can make some of that time up.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a lot hanging off the front, back, all over of that X44 car. And Hedda Hozos went a bit wide there as well. But she, you know, she's clinging on 7 seconds back from the pace. But Timo Scheider in front for Carl Cox Motorsport. It's their first season in Extreme. Doing a really good. Oh, look at that X44 car. Yeah, Scheider's got so much experience. The DTM stuff, but then also, of course, all his World Rallycross experience. Yeah, he's done plenty of stuff on the dirt. He's having a good weekend, and I know who'd be keen for him and Leah Brock. Leah, who's so quick. Oh, no! Just as we say it, that's proper commentator's curse. So Scheider from the lead pulls over to the side of the road. That puts Sebastian Loeb into the lead for At Cupra. And McConnell, you can see there, is on the back of that pack of 3. They've gapped Hedda Hozos a bit up and over the jump. Kevin sideways, straightens up just in time. You do not want to come over that crest-cross stuff. We saw what happened to Molinaro yesterday. Fraz backs it into turn 1. He's right with them. Fraser, he got mugged there when you get hit once. So Loeb had a look up the inside, it puts you offline. You're then offline into the next corner, which is how Kevin took advantage. It's like a chain reaction of having you not where you want to be on track. Fraser's clearly got the pace. He messaged last night and said how they were so frustrated because they were so fast and they just had issues with the car, broke the steering. Different line look. Hansen, yeah, he's took that yesterday, I think, as well, didn't he? Always taking that sneaky line. Oh,
look how slippery it is in the waypoint. I think it's waypoint 1, but that is so. Oh, no, it's 2. It must be waypoint 2. So slippery. They're putting a lot of angle in the car to make up for the fact there's no grip mid-corner. And again, here, look.
Water splash, here we go. Visibility will be absolutely shocking for those behind. And it really, really takes that speed out of you, doesn't it, as well?
Look how brave that is from Fraser through there with the visibility. Just pointed it in the direction he knew it was and kept the throttle lit. That's what you got to do. They're missing the front and rear bodywork. This could not be closer. They're coming in at the end of this lap, of course, to hand over to their teammates. So it'll be Clara Anderson jumping in the At Cupra. It'll be Molly Taylor in for Veloce and Gutierrez in for X44. This is a banger of a race to start the day. It really is.
Yeah, isn't it? And then Hedda Hozos will be actually handing over to Bakarud. And he said he's feeling lucky today. They're 10 seconds back at the moment. But he's so cheeky. He really is.
He will go for it. If you remember yesterday, he took over and he really chased down. Then it's hard to find a way past. That's what he's going to have to do, is try and pass a few cars. You want P3 or above, slow zone. Slow zone, sector 11. So you can see they're all down to 30 kilometres an hour. They have to hold the button through here, the pit lane speed limiter. When they pass that 12 flag, you'll see they immediately accelerate away at full power.
I really feel for Carl Cox Motorsport because they were in the grand final yesterday, but they did not finish. And so this is not the start they would have wanted today. It's their bad luck's continuing.
Unfortunately, yeah. That's what I mean about you want a P1, 2, 3, and that's why Bakker will be desperate to get up from 4th. If you're in the top 3, statistically, you stand a good chance of making it through to the final with a decent run in Q2. But if you're in the bottom 2, you're going to have to win the second race to get anywhere near it.
Look at that from Clara Anderson. She's pumped up. She's, she comes across as very sweet, but she's an absolute demon in the car, isn't she? She honestly, she's such a smiley individual. And here, look, let's look at this replay.
So this is turn 1. You can see everybody coming in sideways. Loeb is out really wide. It gets launched a bit like the contact yesterday between Ekstrom and Timo Scheider. Scheider holds the whole shot. Loeb goes around the outside line. Fraz is in P2. And then you're on board here in the At Cupra. So this is Loeb going up the inside of Fraz. And say at that point now, Fraser's offline to the left. He actually gets into the back of Scheider as well. So Scheider through the water splash, point it in the direction you want to go, and just keep it lit until the screen clears. It is bonkers, isn't it? That is proper brave stuff. So here's Loeb moving. You'll see what I mean now about Fraser being offline, and then, of course, Kevin Hansen can get a bit of a better look. So actually through the water splash, when does Kevin go? A couple of corners later. Clara's on board and she's ready. Already the visor is down. Patrick O'Donovan, championship driver, is on site for us. Patrick, that was a fun way to start Sunday.
Yeah, definitely got the adrenaline pumping there watching that. I can only imagine what the drivers are going through. But no, you know, I'm really intrigued to see how now the track degrades for the rest of the day. You know, we had round 7 here yesterday, and the drivers are already starting to complain throughout the rest of the day due to grip levels changing, but you know, it's only going to get worse today, so the drivers are really going to have to adapt and overcome those challenges.
They certainly are. It's going to be super close on this second lap. You ride on board in the Veloce machine. This is Molly Taylor, remember, season 1 champion with Johan Kristoffersson. And she's chasing Clara Anderson, who is a more recent addition to the series, but for me a really good one. Down the right-hand side, this is that line that Veloce had been taking, the straight line run down to the left-hander.
So
it's
naughty.
Full risk. Up on the brakes now. Good entry for it. Should give you a slightly better exit too, but it wasn't enough this time to make a pass.
But I think they went into the switch with a bit more of a gap between them, and obviously they maybe did a pretty quick switch there for Veloce to come up about, you know, less than a second behind at Cupra.
We saw one of the X44 mechanics as well ripping some of the electrics off the front of the car, so that's where the body shell has disappeared, but they've still got a wire running down to what would have been one of the lights at the front of the car. You don't want a chance of that dropping into the drivetrain or the steering, so he ripped it off. We'll fit another one at the end of the race. In the background, Gutierrez in a very Mad Max looking Odyssey 21. The bodywork missing from the front and the rear. That is the face of concentration on Clara Anderson. Or Molly Taylor coming in tight on that right-hander. Patrick, pressure like this is so tricky, isn't it? The mirrors aren't always a lot of use, and you're trying to feel where everybody else is behind you and keep the door closed.
Yeah, certainly. You know, I've had the pleasure of going toe-to-toe myself with Clara racing, and you can be rest assured, you're right when you say that she might be all smiles, but she's a devil under the visor.
She certainly is.
She'll not be letting the pressure get to her.
No, absolutely. But absolutely. Slow zone has been cancelled because that was where it was. We're seeing green flag on the screen, so that's because everybody knows where that issue is now. Rashida. Molly Taylor on the gas around the outside line, looking to get inside in the next one. You saw she used extra track width there to try and get alongside Anderson. Wasn't quite enough that time, but aggressive stuff from Taylor behind. Anderson's just got to try and hold on. A championship point, remember, if you win this race.
Yeah, there's an extra championship point for the Continental Traction Challenge, and they've still got their Noah Hyperdrive. That blue icon on the left-hand side next to their name means they haven't used their extra boost, which gives you a bit more speed for 4 seconds. If they get the best combined time between their male and female driver in that section, they get an extra 2 points.
X44 have got a problem. They've dropped back, so they were... But we're hearing that they've spun. Backwards got past for JBXE. They're continuing, but they're 25 seconds down. So we didn't see it, but I can see on our track map here, we've got a tracking map. Yeah, the speed still looks good, so they're still flying. They've just come over the finish line. They're heading towards waypoint 1. Inoa Hyperdrive for Molly Taylor. 4 seconds of extra power. And they're deploying that in there to try and set that time. Yesterday, Andretti Autokile set it in the redemption race, so it can be done at the end of the day, but with the track conditions varying, obviously the speed through there will vary, and also you need to try and do it when you're not in traffic. If you're in traffic and you've got bad visibility or somebody in the line that you want to be on, it's not necessarily going to be on.
Yeah, Andretti really did have such a good race in the redemption race yesterday. Here is Clara Anderson. She's been tased by Molly Taylor, and Taylor she's an absolute legend. She obviously is a female racing driver from Australia, and her mum is pretty big into it too. And she was her absolute idol, wasn't she?
I think we're lucky, I think, in off-road motorsport, things like rallycross and rally, that actually we've had females at the forefront of it for quite a long time. To have an opportunity with such I don't know, great coverage as Extreme E gets is what the big difference is for me. You know, Petter Solberg's wife, Pernilla, used to run the rallycross team. Susan Hansen, Timmy and Kevin's mum, she runs Hansen Motorsport with Kenneth, their dad. And you know, we've had some great females who've inspired to get this generation through. And we'll be looking at 2nd and 3rd generation drivers soon enough, I'm sure.
100%. It's great to see these women competing alongside the men on the same stage in exactly the same car. And here we go. Over the finish line, Anderson and Loeb at Cupra take that Q1 Heat 1.
P2 JBXE, that's a great recovery from where they were. They were in P5, of course. Oh, Veloce, so where's the Veloce? They've stopped. So Velocev stopped. Molly Taylor trying to do a reset on the car. Gutierrez will be coming round. Gutierrez must have a problem because she's 53 back. Oh, they're still moving. Yes, so Gutierrez is at waypoint 8 and Taylor is just before waypoint 14. If she can't get that car going, Gutierrez is going to come past her. Here's Gutierrez now. So what's wrong? Obviously bodywork missing front and left. Front and rear, sorry.
I mean, quite a lot looks wrong.
Yeah, but it's mechanically it seems okay, but unless she's had 2 spins. Power steering looks okay. The look on her face suggests everything is not normal in that car. There's the Veloce machine. I think that's the onboard it is. So X44 past Veloce and will take P3 in this right at the end of the race. An unexpected bonus, and that means their day is not over. That's not the greatest start to it, but a P3 is what you want. For Taylor and Veloce in the championship hunt, that is a disaster. They'll try and get it over the line.
Yeah, because you get points. So it's 10 for the win in this, then 8, then 6. And basically, you need to get, on average, 2 third places, thereabouts. But we're going to go to the command centre, and we're going to speak to Seb Loeb from Abt Cupra.
There is Clara Anderson coming back to the pits. Sebastian, that's a decent result, isn't it? P1.
Yes, a P1 in the first quali, so that's a good start of the day. It was a tough fight. I had to do some overtaking, but it went well. I had a great push, no mistakes, and Clara did a great job too. So it's a perfect start for us.
Yeah, nice pass on Fraser McConnell, and then yeah, Clara, big pressure for her there. Obviously problems in the end for Molly Taylor and Veloce, but a lot of pressure for Clara. But she just kept that door shut. Great drive.
Yeah, she was under pressure nearly all the race, and finally she did no mistake, closed the door. She did it really good. So okay, the Veloce had a problem at the end, but we did a clean race, and it's good. 10 points at the first quali. This is good for the rest of the day.
All right, well, Clara's climbing out the car, all smiles, so we'll let you get back and see her and start. There we go. Look, hugs for the team. So well done to you both. Good luck for the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Oh, they're a happy team, aren't they? He's such a cool, chilled Frenchman, isn't he? God, nothing seems to stress him out. He seems unflappable. And I'm loving seeing the partnership between Clara, the young, you know, Scandinavian driver, and then just the absolute seasoned pro of Seb Loeb.
Yeah, legend, 9-time World Rally champion. I mean, yeah, absolute legend. What a pleasure to get to have a quick chat with him. So this is Taylor. I saw they had a deflation, so their front right tyre was down. Is that down already? Yes, it is. The front right's down at this point. There's JBXE passing around the outside, but the puncture is not a reason to stop, especially not that close to the finish. So Taylor on board, using the handbrake. She's potentially got a power steering issue there as well, from the way she's holding the wheel. No, maybe. Yeah, you saw there was a slight shrug of the hands, which is what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with the car. So she's reaching down now. This is where you do the reset. So in fact, this is just like hard resetting your iPhone.
Yeah,
you know,
what is this? What are they pressing exactly?
Basically switching it on and switching it off again. You know, which is the classic IT, isn't it? But you know what it's like with software. Often it's a case of a reset and go again. There might be some other procedures they can do to, for instance, I don't know, change the map on the drivetrain and see if that will make a difference to get the car back. But the Veloce is not going to make it round to the finish line, so that's not a P4, it's a DNF. Oof.
Not what they wanted at all.
Disappointment for Taylor.
Yeah.
Takes off the next safety device. She'll put that in the car. They'll be waiting for that to get picked up. Laura is with Molly's teammate Kevin Hansen, so let's go down and find out what he knows.
Kevin, so sorry to see what happened out there. What do you know so far based on what Molly was saying in the car?
What I could see on the last lap is that we had a right front puncture, but I couldn't see much more from that. And then all of a sudden she stopped. She had that second place coming to the last waypoint, and yeah, I don't know. She still couldn't restart the car now, and she's still standing there on the track. So massive shame. The team did such a nice job on the strategy and coaching me on my lap. So yeah, we'll have to bounce back in Q2.
And such work overnight to get you back out there as well after the highs of yesterday. How frustrating is this?
Yeah, this was actually fun because I could see what was happening in front of me. So I enjoyed my run, and I felt quite good there on the speed and everything. So, and some nice overtakes. So I was happy with my run, but for sure frustrating. But I mean, this is the Veloci team. We don't give up.
I love that. Thank you very much, Kevin. Best of luck for what comes later today.
Frustrating, but as he says, they don't give up. They'll just have to go again.
And it was actually fun because he could see.
Yeah, I did like that. Still with a sense of humour. Result then of Q1, race 1, DNF, unfortunately for Carl Cox Motorsport from the lead. DNF for Hansen and Taylor. That was on the very end of the final lap, just a few hundred metres from the finish line. McConnell and Gutierrez with issues after contact and lots of the bodywork missing. P2 for Hozos and Bakker, JBXE. That is a brilliant result and pretty much unnoticed with all the other stuff that was going on. That's great for them. Can they make it through to the grand final? But it's a win and a brilliant start today for Loeb and Anderson at Cupra. Right, here we go. Another look at the start. Everybody giving each other plenty of room down here. It is super wide. You don't want any contact. We saw what happened yesterday when you get contact on it. There's a slight kink over the finish line, which you don't see, do you, unless you're on the high drone shot. Scheider comes in sideways. Franz with a load of rotation on the car to try and get up the inside. Tiny bit of contact with Loeb, who runs outside the bushes. Loeb and Hansen then are side by side. Look, Kevin Hansen really squeezes Sebastian Loeb, and Loeb's having none of it, just pushes him wide, basically, and in doing so, actually almost gets up the inside of McConnell there. But it was down here where he does finally, so he goes late on the brakes, up the inside, little tap into the back of Timo Scheider. McConnell at this point is still holding off Kevin Hansen. Now he can't see where he's going, and you know, that's what Kevin was saying. He was happy that he couldn't see where he was going. Wipers working on the Veloce car this morning. He got up a position, and then that was Scheider looking in the background, pulling off. Gutted.
Yeah, really disappointing for Carl Cox Motorsport, especially after their unlucky finish or kind of retirement in the redemption race yesterday. Oh, and there is Hansen taking that right-hand side line. It's naughty. I like that.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Different straight line. That's the front bodywork coming off the X44. At this point, mechanically, the X44 was fine. But obviously, well, we didn't see what happened unless we see it now in the replay, what happens with Gutierrez when she heads back out. This is the switch zone, so Loeb gets out, Anderson gets in, the wiring being ripped off, that's what we mentioned during the race. Yeah, thank you, that can come out, see you later. Gutierrez getting the car fired up and back out, so at this point we're all good. I wonder what happens on lap 2, whether or not we're going to see it. So that's out of switch.
Yeah, and they're pretty close here, aren't they? They're closer than when they went in.
Looking to see where Gutierrez is. I don't think she's lost time by now. That's that straight line from Molly. Oh, it is risky.
Yeah, here she
is there. So she's there at this point. So just trying basically to see what happens with the X44. This is it. There we go.
Spin.
So that's the spin. But is it mechanical? Because I think it is, just by the way that's happened, but also by the way she was driving on the end of the lap. You know, a spin, and she's gone round again.
She's going round again, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tech issue, I think. Patrick, that looks tech, doesn't it, X44?
Yeah, it looks possibly tech, but the way she's spinning around there, you know, it could be, I don't know, maybe mechanical, possibly a drive shaft issue. Obviously, you don't want to continue driving a motor if you're having an issue like that, but, you know, it's difficult to tell with these cars, especially from just a camera view, but I'm sure we'll find out soon, and hopefully Laura can get a few words with her.
Yeah, welcome to my world, mate. You know what it's like trying to guess what you lot have done to your cars out there. And it's actually tougher, I think, with electric cars. You know, with IC cars, you hear, don't you, noises which give away what the problem might be, but with the electric cars, not quite so much. So this was the finish line at Cupra with a brilliant drive, up and over the jump, taking the win in Q1 race 1. Another race for Q1 coming up. So more looks at that last race. Good action, it really was wheel-to-wheel stuff. Patrick, anything you liked seeing particularly? I thought Loeb was assertive, wasn't he, with McConnell? Clean pass, though.
Yeah, certainly. I think it was quite cool to see Loeb, you know, a really experienced driver in not just rally, but rallycross too, and so is Franz. So I think it's pretty cool to see those two going toe-to-toe. I haven't seen them racing against each other before, but, you know, I think He's definitely not shy of showing his authority on track, and you know, I really liked off the start as well. I liked how assertive Timo was. Timo was like, "That's turn one. I'm going for it. You guys can sort yourselves out around me, but you're not going to stop me."
Yeah,
it's just a shame to see him pulling off at waypoint 10.
He probably
did, yeah.
pitched it.
He's just that's my line.
So the grid play icon down bottom right corner, you can use that and have a look at grid play. That's where fans can vote for their favourite drivers, and that gives them a little bit of a hand in choosing their grid positions in the grand final later on today. We're on board again with the X44 machine of Gutierrez and McConnell. Say definitely a problem for Gutierrez on the second lap. She's a class act and she wouldn't just go round twice. On board here, this is the start. No, this is the pass. So that's Loeb getting up the inside of the App Cupra.
But Extreme E, it's a championship which goes far beyond just racing and always striving to raise awareness of the bigger climate issues that our planet is facing. The championship really shines a light on the solutions that are out there, and through the Count Us In initiative, the ways in which all of us in our daily lives can do small steps to make a difference, because it's not just doing one thing once. It's about doing lots of small things now and then. We all know that if you just do one thing, it's not going to last. It's about just integrating these little things into your everyday life, and that's what Count Us In is all about. Just one of the initiatives that Extreme E is working on. Let's have a look at it.
So we're out here in Sardinia and we're cycling to the race site. It's all part of the Count Us In challenge. So Count Us In is where you can take a step to live a bit greener and a bit more sustainably, and you can pledge your votes towards your favourite team. So we're cycling to work.
And we've got some especially cool bikes here, electric mountain bikes. It's going to be perfect. We're going to enjoy this.
Let's go.
So why are we doing this? Well, it's a great alternative instead of taking your petrol car. Actually, 40% of all car rides are shorter than 4 kilometers. So it's a great alternative to do something good for the planet.
And look this fashionable as well is an added bonus. But it's a great way to get from A to B for somewhere local that you don't need a car and you can take your bike and get all those benefits of being outside. Now we're going to head back to the track.
It's actually my first time trying an electric bicycle.
It was awesome to kind of see Sardinia in a different way. I enjoyed it.
Join us for a more sustainable future.
Well, one of the big stories coming in to day 2 here in Sardinia is that McLaren will not be taking part. That's following a crash for Tamara Molinaro, who was the championship driver, driving in place of Emma Gilmore. More on that later. But Tamara, firstly, how are you doing after that crash? And talk us through what happened.
My shoulder is a little bit painful, but it's more my heart that hurts. You know, we just wanted to have a good weekend after what happened to Emma and, you know, make her proud. And, you know, after all the hard work that everyone in the team has done, it would have been amazing to make like a great comeback, but obviously this was impossible. So sometimes motorsport is brutal.
Yeah, it can be so cruel. We're so sorry to see. And Gary, coming to you, obviously Emma had a big crash and roll on Friday. You were already in the championship car. You're not racing today. Firstly, how is Emma doing? And secondly, just explain why you're not racing.
Yeah, Emma's good. She's a bit sore, but she's all well. She's here with the team today, so looking at how things are going. So thankfully she's okay, and thankfully tomorrow's okay as well, because two fairly significant crashes. But basically, after tomorrow's crash, we got the car back. Initial thoughts whether it was okay and it was raceable, repairable for today. But as we started stripping the car more, we noticed Spark noticed some further damage to the chassis, which meant it wasn't repairable, and there just physically isn't enough time to build a complete new car for today. So unfortunately, we've sort of run out of time to get the car ready.
Yeah, it's such a shame, but I guess all efforts now go towards Chile, the final round.
Yeah, so in the tent today, we're going to spend the day building up a new car ready for Chile. So trying to strip the bits off the first crash car and see what we can do today, and then finish it off for Chile. Just try to finish the season on a high, yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. And look, we're so sorry to see. We would love to have watched you guys racing out there, putting tomorrow behind you. Thank you, Tamara. Get well soon. Thanks very much, Gary. Cheers, guys.
Such a shame, unfortunately, to lose McLaren today, but looking forward to them coming back for Chile in the finale, and they can go full attack mode there. So these are some of our brilliant female drivers, but as we mentioned during the racing, in fact, it's not just female drivers in the paddock at Extreme E.
From the very beginning, Extreme E's drive for equality focused not only on the drivers competing, but also spread to every role within the paddock, creating an environment never before seen in motorsport.
I am head of events at Extreme.
I'm team principal of X44 Vida Carbon Racing.
I'm the senior principal race engineer for Neon McLaren Extreme.
I'm the deputy team principal at X44 Vida Carbon Racing.
Extreme leads the way in motorsport and equality. It's the only sport where women race against men. But in terms of my role, I'm quite determined to see that equality message actually move through past the driver aspect and actually into what we do as an event. Obviously, motorsport is typically, or has been typically, kind of male-dominated. However, there has been a huge change within the industry. There's loads of opportunities from engineering to event management to tech and broadcast that women can now get involved in. So really key for me is helping other females get into the industry and not to be feeling shy about doing that just because they are women.
I know personally that the female drivers and the women that work within the paddock have got what it takes to be involved in the motorsport sector, but Extreme provides that platform and enables us to have that opportunity. So having that visibility is really key to inspire the future generations.
It should be something that we don't have to talk about. It should be something that isn't a thing. And Extreme is right at the leading edge of that. You know, everybody's respected and treated for the job that they can do, rather than whether they're male or female. For me, I want to be judged for the role that I do as a team principal and not for the fact that I'm the first female team principal. It's a really proud moment and I've had nothing but respect and positivity from the people that I'm working with.
When I first got into racing, it was obvious that there weren't really any other females. There's definitely been a shift. When you look through the paddock, there's much more diversity in the faces that you see. And I think a lot of that is down to the recognition that if you're only looking at one portion of the population, you're not getting the best people.
Maybe aren't the role models, there maybe aren't the opportunities, and maybe that young women and girls in schools aren't deciding to continue with sciences that are going to take them into engineering, or seeing women in management and motorsport that's going to help them realise that they can do it as well.
So you need to open it up. You need to encourage people to come in who are from all different backgrounds, irrespective of their gender, and they have a space and a place in the sport and the business.
Extreme has created a template that can be used in lots of other championships and lots of other businesses. But I think sport is such an engaging industry, and it has a fan base, it has interaction, it's on social media, and it's very visible. And I think for that reason alone, it's a really great platform to show what women can do and equal up that balance.
Absolutely amazing work from Extreme. All the women on site delivering this and in the race cars. But it's not just that. Extreme are also all about the environment. It is the race for the planet, and there's some things that happen on site. Look, on the right-hand side, you see these icons, and one of those is the ship. It's the St. Helena. Instead of using air freight, in fact, the cars and so much of the equipment gets travelled by sea freight, and that is 75% less intensive than if it had gone by air. And that's just one of the things to do. Also, you've got the knives and forks there. It means that everyone has to bring their own cutlery, their own bowl. It's biob. You know, bring your own bowl, not bring your own booze. But those are just some of the epic things that Extreme are doing. It's time to go racing again.
Our second race of qualifying is coming up. Johan Kristoffersen just wiping some dust from his cap alongside me. Talk me through what happened in yesterday's final, Johan, with the car.
Yeah, I lost the power steering after lap 1, so yeah, that was it.
How challenging, how difficult is it then to strong-arm that car around this course?
Yeah, that's not so easy. It's in fact quite dangerous, as it's quite easy to, you know, break your thumb or wrist, because it's so, when you hit some of the ruts and bumps, it just snaps the wheel out of your hand. So yeah, but just try to take it steady, bring the car back home, and yeah, continue to the finish if something would happen. And yeah, it did, so we gained 1 position.
Yeah, P4. We can hear work going on to the car behind. I'm presuming everything is fixed, ready to go today.
Yeah, they did a good job yesterday. So yeah, the car should be fine. And yeah, looking forward for the day.
We'll just take a quick walk up here, Johan. Finally, what are your thoughts on today? What mindset are you coming here with?
No, I think same as every day. You know, just try and don't take too many risks, and hopefully have a good start in Q1. I mean, main target is always to get to the final, and yeah, let's see what happens there.
We'll see from there. Risk versus reward, isn't it? Thanks, Johan. Best of luck to you. And I'm now going to head in here and find RJ. going to try and not bang my head on this door, which I've done before. RJ, talk me through what happened in the redemption race for you guys yesterday. Obviously your first one, which was disappointment enough, but then the slow zone, what went on?
Yeah, just mostly a miscommunication from my end. At the driver's briefing we had, I just misunderstood. I thought anytime there was a finish line yellow, they brought up from waypoint 14 to 1 because the finish line's there, we have to go around it. That was a slow zone. What actually ended up happening is they made it from the finish line to 1. Really just a miscommunication on my end. I thought it was one way, it ended up being a different way. So got all squared away. That's part of being new to a series. You know, there's a little bit of growing pains.
Okay,
unfortunate. Gutted for my team who gave us a great car yesterday, but today's a new day and we're going to push hard.
Yeah, so sorry to see it, but you're right. Today is a new day and fresh opportunities. How are you feeling getting out there again?
Yeah, I'm ready to get back after yesterday. It was a tough day for the team. We had a lot going on here under the tent. So just happy for a fresh start. We want to get a good jump here, and we're in Q2. So, you know, I think just get a clean jump, clean windshield, pass off to Amanda, and let her do her thing. So, it's a bummer to be on our first redemption race yesterday, but I think the only way to forget about that is move on and have a great day today.
Yeah, full Sam. We'll hopefully see you in the final. Thanks so much, RJ. Well, here we go then. It is almost time for our second race of the morning. It is coming up right now.
So there we go. 4 cars on the grid, no McLaren, sadly. You saw a moment ago, there it is, the little flag on the right-hand side. So the little coloured flags, the icons show you where the cars are on the track map, and you can see the McLaren one is in the garage. We heard from Gary Paffett earlier saying that they're going to repair, or try to repair, as much of the car as they can ahead of Chile. Look, chassis fully stripped down, that's suspension arms on the floor ready to go on. So yeah, get the most out of both those chassis that have been crashed, see if we can get a car ready for Chile. They'll be there. Some hard work for the mechanics, though.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Island X Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 2, is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Here we go then. Q1 race 2. Nobody at the McLaren pod, of course, because, as we said, they're missing from the grid.
Yeah, and on the left-hand side, in lane 5, it will be RXR and Johan Kristoffersson starting off. There's, of course, no one in that lane next to them because McLaren aren't racing. Then we have got RJ Anderson for Hummer EV, Chip Ganassi in the middle. And then, current champions and having a great weekend, is Acciona Sainz in that lane too. And on the right-hand side, it's Andretti and Hansen kicking things off.
So great starting position for RXR being on the inside, and particularly having that gap next to them with McLaren not being there gives them a lot of room on the run to turn 1. I expect to see Kristoffersson move across and claim some of that track.
Yeah, he's going to be gunning for it today. We saw how utterly disappointed he was then. He doesn't usually show that much emotion, and he was bummed out.
Yeah, he's not happy. So it'll be maximum attack, but Timmy Hansen, Matthias Ekstrom and RJ Anderson will not make it easy either. Everybody uses the hyperdrive except Timmy Hansen. According to the graphic, he drops back, and Kristoffersson does claim that track. RJ Anderson is slightly in front of him. Johan will go late on the brakes, I'm sure. Rolls the car into turn 1. Anderson gets the whole shot. Timmy Hansen out the back. Ekstrom's going to go around the outside of the bush. That is the bush line between waypoint 1 and 2. Kristoffersson goes inside line to cover off Ekstrom behind him. That is a really sensible, measured start by everybody. One of the first ones we've seen this weekend. So Anderson leading in the number 99 Hummer EV, Chip Ganassi racing. Behind him, Johan Kristoffersson, Matthias Ekstrom. They lead the championship, of course, at the minute, him and his teammate Lars Sands, and Timmy Hansen, whose safety is in our hyperdrive.
Yeah, all very calm here, to be honest. The most calm it's been at the moment. But RJ Anderson, what a great drive from him. He's going to really want to right that wrong from yesterday. We got that speed zone slightly wrong, and he lost that redemption rate and those points. Oh, and the water jump. I mean, gosh, those cars. Acciona Sainz will be a bit dirtier today by the looks of it. Yesterday, they were out in front on every single race. And, oh, yeah, leaning to the side a bit there.
I can't tell you how hard it is to drive when you can't see where you're going. I've done it in rallycross in the UK, and it is just like, the only way I can describe it is like someone throwing a blanket over the windscreen. It literally is. It's terrifying is not the right word, but it's very disconcerting. You know, as a driver, you want to be in control completely, and not being able to see where you go is very much a feeling of not being in control of the conditions. Patrick O'Donovan is still with us on site. Patrick, interested to see Timmy has saved his hyperdrive. He's going to need to be nearer to the pack, though, to make use of it in terms of a pass.
Yeah, certainly, but you know, they could be practicing to try and go for that Continental Traction Challenge time. We saw them yesterday in round 7. They got the Continental Traction Challenge extra points between Timmy and Katie. I think Timmy was 7/10 and Katie had just over 2 seconds, so they could definitely be practicing to try and use that again. You know, it's quite a big advantage, so it'd be interesting to see how that pans out. But no, I'm really surprised there to see just how calm and collected everyone was on the start. You know, obviously there's 3 Rallycross World Champions all on the start there together, and RJ Anderson no shortage of experience as well. So that's pretty cool to see. But I'm hoping we get some overtakes either this side of the switch or the next.
Yeah, we just need Petter Solberg, don't we, to complete the collection of World Rallycross champions with Hansen Ekstrom and Kristoffersen, who's got 5 of those titles to his name. But you know what? You often see the most experienced drivers make the most sensible decisions because they know you're not going to win it in turn 1. So they'll all have a crack at it, but it's risk management and Jess, you know, this is very measured, isn't it?
I was going to say, sensible is not usually the term that I think people describe Extreme E as. And if people had never seen Extreme E yesterday, they watched that final,
yeah,
it was absolutely wild.
Yeah, it was not sensible.
No,
it was not sensible. Right, now Timmy Hansen deploys his Inoa hyperdrive, so this will be an attack on the Continental Traction Challenge and also an attack on the cars in front of him. He does close the gap up to Ekstrom. On board in the number 6, that's Kristoffersen. Wipers on, very little visibility. Timmy in the background there, sideways coming out of the water splash. Look how sideways they have to get in that left hand of the rotation on the car just to point it in the direction you want to go early, and then surfing through that second water splash. On board with Johan, see the water coming in through the top of the car. A little bit of handbrake again there. That's handbrakes just to get the car rotated a bit.
They're all pretty evenly spread out, though, on this, aren't they? And it's good to see. I mean, we all want to see all these cars finish because we always want to see them go through to the next round.
The thing about qualifying is you need 2 good results. A good result is not writing the car off, ripping a wheel off it, getting a puncture. A good result is you know, scoring decent points. Now, obviously, Andretti Autokilik will want to be up a position, as will Acciona Sainz if they can. But yeah, it's a case of getting 2 good, consistent qualifying runs. That's why everybody here is now. Yeah, the gaps are pretty sensible. I wonder what the briefing will be to the female drivers who are going to be taking over. It might well be maximum attack.
Yeah, it's 2 laps per driver. So we're going to be going in to the switch very shortly, and they have 45 seconds to make that. Yep, they're hitting on those brakes now, going slow because you have to go really slow into these areas. And if you don't hit that low speed, then you also get penalised. And that is a big thing here. Like, penalties can come from left, right and centre in Extreme E if you don't follow all the rules. So it is about making sure you do the exact time in the switch zone, not even a 1/10 of a second early, because that could really cost you. And look, yeah, we've got a different like seating block in there to give you a different height, because it depends what size difference you are to your...
Oh, they've gone
look
early.
At that. You can't go early.
He pushed Sorensen out there.
About that.
Yeah, if the car wasn't in neutral when she entered that area, they will get a penalty for that, and they were leading the race. So that might just... What you said, Jess, that's your first commentator's curse. Well done, mate. Welcome to the club. So, yeah, it will depend, but as I say, if they judge that Sorensen entered that area before the car was in neutral, then they will get a penalty for that. We'll let you know if it comes up on the board. So you can hear Johan briefing Michaela in Swedish. Now he plugs the safety net in. She'll have plugged in her comms. Now he goes to the side windows, super calm. Timmy out of the car, Katie is in. Now Katie Munnings has got to make some moves here. She's leaving first because they parked first. She comes out in P3. So Anderson, remember, was in the lead when he came in. So that's a bad switch. That is a bad switch by GMC Hummer. Not only did they maybe go early, but they've lost 2 positions in the switch zone, so that really hasn't gone their way. But it's Munnings who needs to make moves here, because I think top 3 is good enough with a decent result in Q2 to go through, but 4th is definitely not good enough. Munnings has got to attack. Let's go.
I mean, RX are coming out on top. I just feel like they get quite a lot of luck in Sardinia, especially last time we were in Sardinia. It really is. I mean, look at that lead that Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski has taken already. I mean, she is a demon on this course, but wow, she's absolutely stretched that.
Yeah, she has. That's a nice position to be in. It's 2 seconds. It's 0.5 back between Acciona Sainz and GMC Hummer EV. And then you've got another 1.1 back to Katie, but Katie's closed that down on the brakes already. So watching for Munnings in the background. Really, I say, want to be top 3. race control. Okay, they're saying that there's no problem with the Hummer switch zone, so that means the car was in neutral before the mechanic gave Amanda just a little nudge to get out there, so no penalty for that, but still not a good switch.
Yeah, I'd be really happy to not see them get a penalty for that, because it's so unfortunate. It doesn't actually impact the driving, you know, if you just went a little bit earlier. And they didn't have great luck yesterday, so I would have really felt for Chip Ganassi in there if they had that penalty. And they were going into that switch in the lead, and now they're back in third. Oh, but making a move maybe.
Having a look to the outside line, but not going to be close enough to get that rotation done, so Sorensen's not quite there. Katie needs to close down that gap if she can. The gap's been pretty well maintained. I tell you what, though, Laia Sands is the driver who's on the move. The gap was 2. It's down to 0.6 of a second. So Laia Sands attacking, and Sorensen there as well. So at the front, Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski struggling a bit here in the RXR. They're going to come around and complete this lap with 1 more to go. Let's just stay with them as they come through these left and right down at waypoint 12. Still got their Inoa hyperdrive, so will we see anyone deploy that for a pass rather than for the Continental Traction Challenge? I might go for that. If I were Laia Sands, you'd go, you know what, we'll have another crack at the Traction Challenge later. Let's get the position and see if we can get the championship point. Laia Sands is right there now. The RXR's under an enormous amount of pressure. Arlen-Kotlinski's got to try and hold Sands off. I might have used the hyperdrive here and gone for the move. Sorensen's gone out really wide. Is Sorensen looking down the inside line? She's Amanda Sorensen on the attack in the Hummer EV. Gonna get alongside, not quite. Misses the back of the Acciona science machine. You can see she teed that from a long way back. Sands still there. Moves across, she's making Arlen-Kotlinski drive on the mirrors, going to go deep on the brakes. Or maybe a tiny little fender rub at the back, not quite getting there though. Now we're racing, and now Munnings is on the back of the pack as well. So 2 by 2, Sorensen maybe having to defend a little bit. Katie Munnings takes the alternate line. This is the Veloce line. Through that dip, got to keep it lit through here over the bumpy section. Now she should get a better entry to this corner and a better exit as well. This would be where I'd use the hyperdrive if I were Katie. It's out front, it's Arlen-Kotlinski who's gone with it. Katie's not used it just yet. She was so close there. Now Katie uses it. I think that's too late, though, to get that move done. So waste of a bit of power there, I reckon.
Yeah,
super close.
You know what's so good? All of these 4 cars so close together, all female drivers absolutely gunning for it. Barely a second between any of them is what we love to see, but just not maybe the best use of the Inoa hyperdrive there. But Laia Sands...
Well, she's gone. Katie Munnings has gone. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
yes, Katie Munnings has disappeared off the back of the pack, so something's happened to her at the water spout. There she is. She's off-road. Oh, no! Stuck in a ditch at the side. So that's a huge ditch. Munnings is stuck in there. Can she get the car out? Disaster for Katie Munnings. She was so close. I thought she'd engage the hyperdrive straight away, but to be fair, Sorensen was blocking her line on the exit of the corner, so she couldn't get it in when she wanted to get it in.
Acciona Science Laia Sands just used her hyperdrive there, but wasn't enough.
Sorensen hasn't used hers yet as we come round towards the end of the lap, so Amanda Sorensen in big attack in the background. Can she carry some extra speed through one of these sections and see if she can make a pass? She's still got 4 seconds of that extra power boost. Sideways on the exit for Arlen-Kotlinski. Sands is there as well. When is she going to use that extra power? There's not long to go. Got to be, surely now would be a good opportunity.
Right now.
Sorensen gets the 100 kilowatts of extra power. It's not enough to make a difference though. Rosberg X Racing going to hold on. Going to be very tight. Laia Sands tries around the outside, but Arlen-Kotlinski just no. Acciona Science have got it. They've got it by 600ths of a second.
Oh my
Laia Sands at the line has taken the win. Side by side, they got there first. 600ths of a second from RXR and GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing, less than a second behind. That was wild.
Absolutely wild. Laia Sands, how did she pull that out the bag? But she did. Acciona Science, God, it really is turning into their weekend.
600ths of a second,
0.061.
She doesn't know yet. Tell her. Get on the radio, tell her. Arlen-Kotlinski's gutted, she knows. Just curls the lips slightly. She's livid.
She thought she had that.
Yeah, Sands got great exit speed, didn't she? 600ths.
600ths of a second. Andrew's going absolutely wild here in the commentary. But
yeah, now she knows.
Yes, Laia.
Yes.
Big man himself. Carlos Sainz. Wow, what a weekend for him.
He's having a great weekend, isn't he? Pulls the belts down tight again. Yes. Right, we're going to go and talk to Carlos Sainz. I'm excited about this. Carlos Sainz is having a great weekend. I'm expecting the Spaniard legend to be in a good mood. Carlos, let me see that smile. This is it, mate. This is This is yesterday top qualifier and the win. Your son, Carlos Sainz Jr. on pole in Singapore for the Formula One. Today you come out and you've taken victory by 0.06 of a second. How are you feeling?
Yeah, well, it was some noise. I couldn't hear very well. How I am feeling, of course, I am really, really happy. It was very, very tight battle this time again, but another P1 just for nothing. So great job from Matthias, great job from Laia also this time. And yeah, what can I say? So far so good, but we know this championship, everything can turn around in 1 minute. So we need to go step by step, try to concentrate in our next race, and then of course trying to reach the final, and then, you know, everything can happen.
Incredible. Great weekend for you. I hope it continues. Get back to the tent, get everybody focused. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you very much.
Laura Winter is with Laia Sanz, so now we can hear from Laura and Laia. That brilliant move in the last corner.
Laia Sanz has just said, I gave it my all in the last corner, and didn't you? 6 thousandths over the line. I mean, tell me what you saw, how much you were aware of what was going on in terms of closing that gap to Michaela.
It was hard because, you know, if you're not the first car, the vision is quite poor, and I was fighting to keep close because I knew that maybe I had somewhere a chance to pass her. But I had also the stress that the Ganassi was touching me some places. But I'm really happy. I give it all in the last corner. I try a different line to keep the speed, and at the end it works, but I didn't know until now because I see nothing.
Oh, you were carrying great exit speed into that, absolutely. And you have again set up your day perfectly to continue into qualifying 2 in the grand final. Set up well by Matthias Ekström in the first lap as well.
Yeah, he did a great job. We didn't have the best start position, but at the end we saved it very well. It's so good to come with a first position here because it's a bit less pressure in the second quali. But anyway, we need to give it all and push us.
And you'll be off the start as well, won't you? Obviously for our next race. What have you learned from looking at the various lines that drivers are taking here to make sure you get the best one possible?
Yeah, we will try, but of course it's nice to have the best position you can choose, so we will do our best in the next one.
Great stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Laia.
0.06 of a second for 1 championship point. Imagine if the title comes down to 1 point. I don't think it's going to, because I think Acciona Sainz are doing such a great job. Comes through the last corner, absolutely lit. Oh, this is earlier on in the race, so she's trying around the outside here. Is this the finish line from a long shot? I think it is. So she's carrying the speed here. Look, just points it around the side of Arlen Kotlinski. Yeah. I mean, so the line, to explain to everybody at home, there's 2 pieces of wire buried in the track and then a transponder in the car, and as they cross over the line, that's what registers exactly where they are. So there's also usually a finish line camera, so they can double check things if they want to. But if the timing says 0.06 of a second in favour of Acciona Sainz, that's what it is. Look at this. Points the car wide, just lights it up, just goes for it. Over the crest, almost side by side. As I say, don't take the jump as the finish line. The finish line is where the tower is, and how that finish is measured, we can't see from here. It's a piece of wire in the road, 0.06 of a second. Look at the look on her face. Round the outside, here it is, you're on board with her. She's side by side. She looks out the window. She doesn't know, but absolutely fantastic. Laura, where's Laura?
Oh my days.
Wow!
That's the photo finish, isn't it, Laura?
This is the photo finish here. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Here it is. And I don't think Laia has seen this just yet. I'm going to just grab her now. Laia, there is the photo finish. That's how
like
close it was.
in Tour de France, yeah, photo finish, yeah.
Yeah, it's like cycling, but we're on 4 wheels here. Yeah. And you got that done over the line.
It's cool. I had no radio for the last lap. I didn't know the gaps. I knew that Ganassi was so close, but I saw Michaela, and I was trying to get close to have a chance. I try a different line in the last corner to go outside and keep the speed, and at the end it works. That I'm super happy, but I didn't know that I won until I arrived here and the guys tell me.
Yeah, and we're running to you with a photo finish like that. Well done, Laia, congrats.
Thank you.
Laura, I think you better send that picture to Laia. I reckon that's an Instagram post for later, isn't it? Like, who gets a photo finish? That Katie's out the car, so the car being recovered. It's in the ditch. Trying to straighten up the wheels. Look, you see that's both hands off, trying to drag the car straight. There we go. They've dragged it out of the ditch using a tractor from the looks of things. Right, this is on board with Katie in the number 23. She comes into the water splash. Oh, boom, into the back of the Hummer EV. Now she can't see because the front bodywork's up. Through the bush on the outside, into reverse. So she goes in reverse, comes back out. Now she's facing the wrong direction. So she's facing the wrong direction. She's trying to spin the car and she can't see. Cannot see anything. Spins the car. Now she's going full right lock to rejoin the track in the right direction. And unfortunately, into the ditch. So there we go. That's a shame for Katie Munnings and Timmy Hansen. Couldn't quite reverse the car out. And game over for them in this one. Another look back at this one. So Kristoffersson comes out, as we expected him to do, claims a bit of track on the run to the first corner. And then R.J. Anderson, though, just pitches it in really nicely done. And to say everybody was really measured. We saw carnage in turn one a couple of times yesterday, particularly when Timmy got on two wheels with Johan. You know, the very best drivers, knowing they're in a good position, there's only 4 cars in this race, so your risks are limited anyway because there's one less car into turn one. Just making sure you get the job done. They all brought the car home, and in fact, it was the second half of the race where it all kicked off.
You know what's quite funny about always the first heat of the day? Everyone's so clean until they go into this.
Yeah.
Aqua Grande, number 1, the big water splash, which is causing all sorts of problems of mud, visibility, and they just don't know where they're going afterwards sometimes.
I might start cheeky with car washing business in Sardinia. I've got an idea for a location for it. I don't know whether or not, how much cash there would be in it, but we could have a go. Although, to be honest with you, a lot of the cars come in with not much bodywork to wash, so maybe it's not a good idea.
For example, you wouldn't be doing much there.
So this was how close they were when they came in. I reckon 2, 3, probably 4 seconds across them. So watch the mechanic here, who does the right thing. So he's with Sorensen, he's ready, and go. She then freaks out and thinks, whoa, hang on a minute, should I have gone or not? And then they're saying, yes, they were. So basically, the stewards have either checked the data and it was in neutral, or they've gone, you know what, we're not penalising her, she wasn't fully into the switch zone. Either way, they didn't get a penalty, but it was enough for them to lose a bit of time. So, yeah, shame. There we go. That moved them down a couple of positions. They still got P3. They were 9/10 of a second back. This is on board with Katie, who, of course, at this point didn't have any idea what was coming. Katie, when she had that hyperdrive, I thought she was going to use it on the exit of the corner. We might see it. But she's actually so close to Sorensen, I'm not sure she could have done. She's got such a great entry. It's where she takes the alternate line. So she's off the back of the pads later in the lap now, then she's gone by then. Oh no, she's still there, sorry, it's the next lap where she takes the alternate line. And she comes in so tight in behind Sorensen.
Yeah, you'd think there would have been somewhere. There was so little between each, but I mean, you have to just pick it so carefully, and you don't want to not use it either, do you?
You have to use it.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to use it. Everybody has to use it. You can waste it if you want. So if you didn't say here, I thought she might go there, but because she's right in behind Sorensen, to be honest, all she would have done is driven into the back of Sorensen, which is what happened there. You see, she couldn't deploy it. There was already contact. So to be fair, she couldn't have deployed it there. But then she comes to a water splash, gets heavily into the back. This is what we were saying yesterday when we were talking about the effect of the water. So the first car in gets very heavily decelerated. The car behind comes into... and there she's off to the left. You actually got a better view from Sorensen's car of where Katie ended up. So that little bit of contact pushed her off track and out into the bushes at the side.
Yeah, it's a real shame for Andretti because they did do so good in the redemption race yesterday, winning that. But it's time to... let's have a look at those results from qualifying 1, heat 2.
Oh, Andretti maybe looking at the replays, are they? Yeah, Katie disappointed, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Disappointment, but there you go. Right, results of this one.
Yeah, in 5th, McLaren, they did not start, unfortunately, because of the damage to the car, and it did not finish for Andretti Autokilat. And then Hummer EV Chip Ganassi came in 3rd with a decent run. And in 2nd, oh my days, was it close. RXR in 2nd place and nabbing that 1st place in qualifying 1, heat 2, and getting that extra championship points is the smiling faces of Acciona Sainz, who are on for a real good weekend.
Absolutely killing it, aren't they? These are the points so far. So wins for App Cupra and Acciona Sainz. Those qualifying points from Q1 will be added to the points in Q2. Now, we found roughly you needed between 12 and 14 points if you're going to make the cut to be in the top 5 and go through to the grand final. So you'll be able to see Q2 later on today with the finals and the redemption race as well. That's where they head into their 2nd qualifying run, so you can see how they line. Acciona Sainz and RXR will be in different races. So championship front runners, Veloce are in with Acciona, Laura Winter is with Katie Munnings.
I'm with a very frustrated Katie Munnings right now. Talk us through what happened, Katie.
Yeah, I mean, just massively frustrating, as you say. I wasn't trying anything. I wasn't trying to pass there. I was, you know, in the catching in the first sector, and I tried a different line there. That was where I thought that something might happen. But here it was just, you know, that water splashes flat out every time we drive there. We were in traffic, I guess. I think the Ganassi car basically stopped on the way in, so I obviously hit them coming in, expecting everyone to be flat out. And I think that must have spun me. By this point I had no vision, and I just tried to go in the direction I thought the track was, and then the next thing I see is a bush, so I reversed and then tried to go in the direction the track was again, and literally just drove into the ditch, but couldn't get the car out, so unfortunately we couldn't finish the heat. So it's massive frustration, you know. It wasn't I intended at all, obviously, and it was never something that I thought would happen there. I wasn't trying to pass, I was just trying to, you know, follow, but I mean, you know, the visibility from that mud splash is no joke, and yeah, it's not the start that we want after yesterday, to be honest. But I think we can still, you know, see what happens in Q2. Anything can happen. It is Extreme E, but yeah, not the best start to the morning.
Yeah, you've still got 4 points though and 1 race to go. We'll see what happens. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, good point. With less cars in the race, maybe a slightly better shot. So later on, the drivers will be choosing their grid positions on here, and that is based, of course, on grid play. You can find a little bit more about that here. In the build-up to the final in each Extreme E X Prix, fans can show their support and vote for their favourite teams and drivers through grid play. The voting takes place via the Extreme E website. The team that collects the most votes gets first pick on their grid position in the grand final and will have the opportunity to massively influence the start of the race. But there is a twist. The teams that do not reach the grand final can donate their votes to any other team. With a strong start being key to a good X Prix result in Extreme E, grid play could make or break a team's chances of success. Which team will emerge as firm fan favourites? So, championship standings 137 for Acciona Sainz, and that is with their bonus point from the win in that session. They were on 136, and that okay, 1 point. So that, but the gap is now, it's 17, not 16. It's going the wrong way for RXR. Veloce still there, no bonus point for them. Remember, Abt Cupra were the other people who won, Loeb and Anderson, so they'll have got 1 extra championship point. There is a bit of a fight going on here in the middle of the table for position, but as I say, there's only 29 points available each day with a win. The Continental Traction Challenge, both your qualifying sessions, that's your max. So if you're outside 58 points off the lead come the end of today, you are out of the championship fight.
And next, we're going to have a look at the Zenith Dream Team, which is basically looking at the fastest times of the females on the left, which is Clara Anderson today. And on the right-hand side, it was Andreas Backerud from JBXE. And we take the fastest female and the fastest male, we merge them together, and then we get the Zenith Dream Team. And this is what it looks like today. Would be not a bad, they'd be a very happy team, wouldn't they? Very, very buoyant people. I'm a big fan.
It'd be a big smiley team, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be a big smiley team. So, but yeah, nicely done for Backerud and Anderson. Zenith Dream Team from Q1. Reprep time then. Q1 done and dusted. Not so much dusted as mudded, to be honest. Look how clean the cars are already. They've been to the jet wash station, haven't they? And had a little go.
Maybe you don't need to have your own car wash. They've got it all sorted. That's fiddling about there.
Yeah, inspecting the tyre on the right. So this is tyre wraps on the bodywork, but actually on the right-hand side. So these rims here, that's a fake rim which is used to do the alignment. They run this line down the side of the car. See the guy with the torch?
Yep.
So they're checking the tyre here over on just out of our shot on the right. And they're checking the tyre to see if it can be used or not. So they have a certain number of tyres they can use.
It's
they can
30,
use a joker
yeah.
tyre if they feel like it's not suitable. And actually Continental, as the supplier, can say this tyre not to be reused, and they can have another joker. Here in Sardinia, they've got a couple of extra ones because we know that it's a fairly rough old place. So there we go then. Q1 done for round 8. Acciona Sainz having the perfect weekend. You know, you get to the point where you start thinking, is our luck going to run out? Can this last all day long again today? Carlos Sainz, a very happy man. His son's on pole in the Formula 1. They took the win yesterday. They were top qualifiers. If they could do that again today, they would have maybe 1.5 hands on that championship trophy. So it's been a great Q1, loads of action. You guys can join us later on today for all the action from Q2, the final in the Redemption Race. 6 hundredths of a second was the margin here between RXR and Acciona Science. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
Hyperdrive now.